Tools and implements of architecture and of stone masonry are used in this fraternity to teach specific conduct of life, and on this occasion I will carefully enumerate them. The Holy Writings, that great light in all of life. Masonry urges you to study diligently. We believe they will guide your paths, guide you to all truth. They will direct your path to the temple of happiness and point out to you the whole duty of man. Masonry uses the square to teach us to regulate our actions and to harmonize our conduct by the principles of morality and virtue. The compasses. Masonry uses the compasses to teach us to draw boundaries on our behavior and our thoughts, to remain within ourselves and to limit our desires in every station, that rising to eminence by merit, we may live respected and die regretted. The rule. We use the rule to direct all Masons to divide their time, giving equal time to the service of those around us who are less fortunate than ourselves. We observe our duty, press forward on the path of virtue, and neither inclining to the right nor to the left. In all of our actions have eternity in view. The line. Masonry uses the line to teach the criterion of moral rectitude, to avoid dissemination in conversation and actions, and to direct our steps to the path which leads to immortality. The Book of Constitutions. You are to search at all times, cause it to be read in your lodge, that all may be aware of the excellent precepts it enjoins. And now, we'll see, right up there, the charters of the 3 lodges. You now receive the charters, the authority by which your lodge is held. You are carefully to preserve it. In no case should it ever be out of your immediate control. At the expiration of your term of office, it will be delivered to your successor. And lastly, you will receive in charge the bylaws. I'm right here. The bylaws of your lodge, which you are to see carefully and punctually executed. Keep her safe, keep. I know you got it. Worshipful Masters, the Grand Lodge, having committed to your care the superintendence and government of the brethren who constitute your lodge, you cannot be insensitive to the obligations which devolve upon you as their head, nor your responsibility for the faithful discharge of the important duties pertaining to your station. By our regulations, you are the chairman of your lodge's finance committee. It is your committee's responsibility to assure yourselves that the funds of the lodge are properly accounted. The honor, reputation, and usefulness of your lodge will materially depend upon the skill and care with which you manage its concerns. The happiness of its members will be generally increased in proportion to the zeal and ability with which you promote the genuine principles of our institution. You may be seated. I think we've got some seats there for you briefly. We're going to pull you down shortly, though. Brothers, senior and junior wardens, please rise. Juniors, seniors and junior wardens. Brother, senior and junior warden, you are too well acquainted with the principles of Masonry to warrant any apprehension that you will be found wanting in the discharge of your respective duties. You are carefully to assist the Master in discharging of his trust, diffusing light and imparting knowledge to all whom he shall place under your care. In the absence of the Master, you will succeed to higher duties. By our regulations, you are the other members of the finance committee of your respective lodges. It is your committee's responsibility to assure yourselves that the funds of the lodge are properly accounted. Your commitments must therefore be such that the craft may never suffer for want of proper instruction. You may be seated. brethren of Eau Claire Lodge number 112, Sanctuary Lodge, is it 351? Or 347? And Wheeler Lodge number 351. My God. Such is the nature of our Constitution, that as some must necessarily govern and teach, so too must others learn to comply. Humility in both is essential. The officers who have been selected to govern your lodge are sufficiently familiar with the customs of society and the laws of Freemasonry to avoid exceeding their powers with which they have been entrusted. And you are of too generous disposition to envy their position. I therefore trust that you will have but one aim, to please each other and to unite in the grand design of being happy and communicating happiness. That you will strengthen and grow your lodge from within by attracting your sons and their sons to become members and its next leaders. They will gain inspiration from you, and you will both relish in the bond of brotherhood forever. May the tenets of Freemasonry be transmitted through your family and your lodge, pure, unimpaired, from generation to generation. Installing Marshal, you will make the proclamation.
In the name of the most worshipful Grand Lodge of Wisconsin, I do solemnly vow that all the officers of Eau Claire 112, Sanctuary 347, and George B. Wheeler 351 duly installed. I declare it in the south, the west, and the east.
Brethren and guests, yes, please salute your officers with a hearty round of applause. Worshipful Master, your officers are now installed, and I have the pleasure to present to you, briefly, the gavel, a symbol of your authority. One rap calls up anyone to whom you may address. 2 raps call up the officers of the lodge, and 3 raps call up the entire lodge. And 1 rap seats your lodge. Worshipful Master, please, on behalf of your brothers, seat the assembly. Falling down. Where's Brother Walters? I need the suspenders. You got them around here somewhere? No. My brothers, in ancient times, kings wore a crown as an insignia of royal dignity and power. But in Masonic lodges, agreeable to an ancient custom, the Worshipful Master wears a hat as a mark of distinction and an emblem of his official authority over the lodge. While the lodge is at work, you, as Worshipful Master, will wear a hat of your choice, which we will now. Unless your ladies would prefer to do this. Your ladies in the house, would you okay.
You're stuck with me.
Ladies, would you like to? No? I'm seeing some head shake over. Come on. Come on. Go for it. I knew what you thought.
I know. That happens quite frequently.
Please. Don't collapse like mine, though. Thank you. And we had lived that a little bit. It is to be removed during prayer and in the presence of the Grand Master in church and other times as indicated in our ritual. It may also be removed on occasion for your comfort and convenience. Worshipful Masters, this concludes the installation ceremony. And I am pleased and honored on behalf of the brothers who assisted this evening to welcome you or to congratulate you on your ascent to the east. We look forward to seeing you at annual communication along with your wardens or their proxies. Or, if I could I have all those members of Grand Lodge please rise? Are there any senior wardens in the house? Brother senior wardens, you're members of Grand Lodge, please rise. And you know what, junior wardens? You too. Please rise. Brothers and guests, these are the men who have a voice at the annual communication of the Grand Lodge of the state of Wisconsin. They have a vote. And I encourage you to be there for the annual communication so you can voice your opinions on the resolutions and other items that will come before Grand Lodge. And that you can vote on all those items that we need to vote on. You may be seated. Things are a little different than they have been other years, I think, Master. We've done a little change up here.
Yes, you have.
You recognize the pin that I have this year?
Yes.
What is it?
So the level.
The level, yeah.
Yep.
Why do you think this lectern is down here on this level?
That's how we
That's
meet.
how we meet, my brothers. We meet on the level. And how do we act? Okay. Should we go through it again? How do we meet, my brothers?
On the level.
How do we act?
By the column.
And how do we part?
I swear.
Never, ever forget those three little questions and the answers that go with them. Explain them to your loved ones. It is the foundation of Masonry, in my opinion.